You are listening to the Mark Guzman Podcast Experience. So one thing I've learned in podcasting is that you need to double check all your equipment. And I laugh about this because we began recording this podcast and a few minutes in, I realized the audio wasn't picking up. Of course, once again, it's user error. So you will hear a reference to take two at the very beginning. So if you're in the beginning journeys of podcasting, make sure to double check all your connections. But my guests were great about it. So here on the podcast, we were enjoying a red Zinfandel wine and a wheat IPA by East Brother Beer Company in Richmond. We will discuss both the wine and the beer a bit more toward the end of the podcast. This podcast was a lot of fun to record. I learned a lot about the various challenges in putting together an independent web series. It's a lot of work, organization, and commitment devoted to it, which is just purely amazing. So I hope you enjoy this episode. So round two, I guess.
Let's do it.
Yeah, a few more drinks in. It could be a little lighter this time.
Okay, so I want to thank my guests, and the audio is picking up, and I'll have to explain this on the podcast. That's the intro. But so everything starts out as an idea. Several months ago, my guests today, Jasmine Walker and Ashli Patrice, met and became friends, bonding over the idea of a web series that captures what everyday life in San Francisco looks like when you're trying to make your way in the world. That series quickly turned into Can We Be Great? A story of two young people looking to make their dreams come to fruition in San Francisco. So thank you on the podcast. Take two.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about how the two of you met each other and your background.
All right. You want to start it off?
Yeah, I'll start off again. Yeah. So we actually met about 10 months ago. I had just moved.
Like 11.
Oh, yeah, you're right. More like 11 months ago, November of last year. And I had just moved back from Seattle. I had been living there for about a year and a half. And as I had kind of plugged back into the Bay Area, I was trying to kind of make connections again. And I had her god sister I'm actually friends with on Facebook. And she just had been posting a lot of stuff about local stuff, and she seemed really involved in the community here. And so I had reached out to her just saying, oh, I really feel what you be saying, that kind of thing. And do you, are you connected? Is there any way we could work together? Or do you know anybody? I'm a filmmaker. I'm looking to plug in. And she was like, oh, my god sister actually wants to be a filmmaker as well. And you guys be great connect. I'll connect you guys. And so she connected us, and we started kind of messaging each other. And then we had a meetup, and, as they say, the rest was history, And when we initially met up, Ashley actually was working on a different project that she was trying to bring me on.
Right.
And then she disappeared.
Right, because it didn't work out. So, but actually, now that I think of it, that was the best thing they could have ever done was drop me. So, yeah. And actually, I've known her family since I was 5. Her cousin is one of my best friends. Yeah. So and I've heard her name from her cousin, but I've never met her over the years.
As we say, the community in San Francisco is very small,
right.
And the Black community is even smaller. So we had so many people in common that we both knew actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, and Jasmine, your cousin Trina works here. Now, do you know Trina?
Nah, I don't know.
But she's seen her though, because she's in our series as well.
Okay. Okay. Now, prior to recording here, you showed me the trailer that just came out.
Yes, yesterday.
And it's on YouTube, so we'll go ahead and link that up for everyone. And now the actual series starts launching on November 3rd, correct?
Yes, Friday, November 3rd.
Okay,
yes.
And how many episodes in the series?
7.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your background and how you got involved in this project. So, Jasmine, we'll start with you. How did you end up into filmmaking?
Well, growing up, I always loved films and TV. I was a big fan of media and the impact that it could have. And growing up, when I was maybe in middle school, we had a camcorder in my house, and during the summer where I had not much to do, I asked my mom if I could play with it, and I ended up creating an entire series I called The Jasmine Show, and I was the star, and I was just having a blast, just putting stuff together, and I just kind of found a little passion in that, and kind of continued in that. And at that time, I had dreams of being an actor, so I in my head, I was going to go forward and go to school for acting as a theater major. And I ended up going to Hampton University, actually, in Virginia as a theater major. And I was there, did the college thing, went through like about 5 majors, and ended up coming back to theater, but realizing that actually it's filmmaking I like and not necessarily acting. And so I ended up changing schools and going to SF State locally where I could do a film program because Hampton didn't have a film program at the time. And that's kind of how I started on the journey of just being into film.
Okay. And you also lived in London.
Yes,
correct?
and through SF State, I actually was able to study abroad and do a cinema program, which was awesome. Loved living in the UK, and went back after doing a study abroad for my master's in the UK and did a program there for that as well.
Okay. And what we were talking about too is the service out there is
Yes.
completely different,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yes. The service here, we have a expectation of like really good service, and when you get good, well, actually, we have a tipping culture here. So even if you get kind of mediocre service, you're still expected to tip, and if you get really good service, you're expected to tip well. In the UK, there's not a tipping culture, so tipping is really optional, like at best optional. And even when you tip, like you don't tip a lot. Like there's no percent that you need to tip. So people kind of treat you like they don't expect a tip, you know. So that was kind of refreshing, actually, you know, is that you didn't have that big expectation to have to tip and stuff. Not that I don't enjoy tipping in America, for the record. I am a good tipper, but it's just different culture there, so I enjoyed it.
And actually, how do you end up into this project?
So it started with wanting to be an actress, and I was like somewhere between 7 and 9. So I was begging my mom for about 1.5 to 2 years to be on Barney. She said no. But then also in high school, with my church, I would tape, like we had cameras and editing software. So I would help do like the camera stuff. And I learned, I think it was Final Cut 7, Final Cut Pro 7,
Yeah.
I think I learned. And then kind of just did other stuff until like 2 years ago when I took my first acting class and fell in love with it. And then through that started exploring. Well, I've always been a writer, but not like a web series or screenplay or stuff like that. And just fell in love and started doing more and connecting with different people. And yeah.
So how many people do you have right now on board with this web series?
Including actors and crew?
Everyone, yeah.
7 to 10.
Yeah.
I don't think it's 10 though. Maybe 7 and 8.
Okay. And who's doing the screenwriting?
We did.
Yeah. But
Okay.
We co-wrote it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now, the series comes out next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And actually, when we have this up live, when are we going to have this? Tuesday. So
In a
it'll
few
be the same
days.
week, in a few
Same
days. Yeah.
week.
Awesome.
Now, the actual web series is called Can We Be Great?
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name, and what's the backstory behind that?
So the backstory is when we had first met, and like I said, I was doing another project, but I was working on that project, but then something else too. So I was like, oh, can you, check out my short film I wrote? It's, rough draft. Just tell me what you think, blah, blah, blah. But then when the other project fell through, we were like, okay, well, let's do something now together. And so we started doing a short film, but then it started turning into like a web series. We're like, okay, let's go with that flow.
And then our master class.
Right. Right. And we just started chatting just about growing up, about our life, our interests, and we found it interesting. So it's like, okay, let's, create a story out of this.
So the main characters are based on us.
Yeah.
Loosely.
Loosely based.
Loosely.
Not,
Yeah.
We kind of exaggerated stuff.
Yeah, a little exaggerated. Not everything, but loosely.
Right.
So the two of you met and then did a master class.
Yes. And once we started writing in the web series, we were like, well, you know what? Let's research a little bit more to make sure we're doing the narratives in a good format and making sure that it's interesting, but just structurally right.
We want it to be great.
Yeah, we want it to be great. We wanted it to have like a really, that really well thought out, and not as just like putting thoughts down and trying to wing it. So we went to Auntie Shan That we like to call her, which is Shonda Rhimes,
Auntie Shan,
who we kept seeing an ad for on Facebook and stuff for her masterclass. And so we met up one Saturday for our masterclass session, and then we took the masterclass, and it was really good. She goes over A storylines and B storylines, and how to keep them interesting and the arc and all that kind of stuff. And so once we took that, it actually really did change our
it
script. Like
definitely
we pretty much rewrote everything. We were like, oh, what are we
Right.
doing over here?
Well, eventually we were kind of like writing. We were writing together, but kind of separately.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm not feeling this. So then we started meeting and writing like there together.
Yeah.
So I think that made a difference too. But our first drafts are like way different than what we actually have now.
Yeah, different plot.
Yeah,
like,
different.
It was like different. It was very different. So one day maybe we'll release those extra those never released scripts that were kind of crazy. But yeah, it's kind of how we came about, and then how we came up with "Can we be great?" The phrase. It's just like it's like a local, not even local. It's just a term that people use when like someone's doubting you or someone's like trying to hate or something like that. You'd be like, well, can you just let me be great? Like stop trying to like dim my light, So we would say that a lot, and we just kind of was like, well, we should name it that. Like, can we just be great? Because as creatives in the Bay Area, where it's so expensive to live, and our generation typically a lot of times doesn't move out as soon as our parents' generation did. So a lot of us still live at home, but we went to college. We have creative ambitions, but but it's just it's just difficult to get in and to have the time and the energy and the money to do what you want to do. So we're just like, well, how can we be great? So that's kind of how we came up with the phrase and call that about these two creatives who want to be great.
Okay. And are you guys working full time on this project, or is this like more of a side hustle and you have other jobs?
We have another job, not by choice, but by survival.
Yes, by survival.
But this is so we basically have two full-time jobs, right? Because this is not part-time. It's more than hobby. We definitely want this to be our career. We just have to build ourselves up.
Yeah, we have to pay the bills still, but right. So we do have 9 to 5s, but we definitely use all our spare time to bring this forth.
Right.
Okay. So. Now, how do you manage like your spare time? Because you have lives too. So you have your job, you have this project, then there's all the other demands of life. How do you manage all that?
Yeah, it's a challenge, like I try to keep my social life a little bit, it's kind
of is way better than mine. I honestly don't care about having a social life. Like if I don't care about my weekends being filled up if I'm either doing filming or music stuff. Like I don't care, but definitely it's hard when you have that other job which takes up such a chunk. Like your day job, your main job would take up such a chunk of your time, but we manage day by day, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we tired.
And I try to include a little social time in my weekends. So it's a challenge, but I still handle. It makes it more of a challenge, I would say, because I'll get back late and then I'll get up early and start editing. So it really is just balancing and making the project your priority. So you have to sacrifice a bit. You can't do everything. Sometimes you have to just say, what, I gotta focus. We got to finish this, because otherwise it just gets extra drawn out, and you really want to have a deadline in mind of when you want to finish the project.
I've been talking about a web series for like 2 years. I know people are like, girl, shut up. You're never going to do this.
Yes.
But finally,
so it's really nice to actually have a product that we're actually putting out and to actually share. Because even with this project, like our original date we said we were going to release was in September, I want to say. Come in September, or it might have been October, but it's been moving a lot. So now it's finally coming out in November. But I know people on our Instagram are like, okay, guys.
Like, please.
Yeah.
Like doubting you, like, are you really doing this?
They're doubting us.
That's why we said in the trailer they doubted us.
Exactly.
But now we have our shot.
Now we got our shot. Exactly.
So I love the beginning of the trailer where you list a Netflix original and then you say, nah, just kidding.
Yeah. Because we watch a lot. We are also big fans of TV. So that is so. And one of the things that Auntie Shansha said was, you need to do your research and researching like when you're a filmmaker. You need to watch TV, which is the best homework ever.
And I'm a fan of Netflix. Like
we watch a lot of
Netflix
stuff.
is so dope to me, especially some of their original series.
Yeah. They're just high quality.
Yeah.
So,
all their original series is really what saved them, because they started to die off a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they started launching their original series, and now they're like,
they are beasts now.
Killing the game. So so that's just us. Like kind of a little shout out to Netflix, but like we're not quite there yet. But but we see y'all. We coming.
Right.
We want to be on Netflix one day. Shout out to Netflix.
I'll go shout out to Comedy Central.
Yeah, that too.
So where do you find the inspiration for the characters in the series? I know you said they're loosely based on yourselves, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, our lives,
Yeah.
and then just I don't know, like we would just be talking. I would say something. She'd be like, "That,
Yeah,
like
let's
that's
put
what
that
we
in the
like. That
series.
needs to be in
Yeah,
there." And I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh,
We would
okay."
do that
Like
a
I'm
lot.
just talking. Like we're just
Yeah.
talking.
And although I say that it's loosely based on us, a lot of our personality is in the characters. Like we do have our own like discussions or debates or how we view certain media, and I'll be like, okay, you acting a little too much like your character right now, like, and we'll say that a lot, or like, okay, it goes both ways, like we're definitely inspired by how we do see things and our critiques on media in the world and arts and creative spaces and that kind of stuff, but then also wanting it to be funny and wanting it to be like not super heavy. We don't need something super heavy, but something that but has a real component to it.
Now, from an artistic point of view, how is it taking like a certain component, a certain message, and trying to get that delivered to the audience in either comedy or like how is that?
That it's hard because I don't ever want to come off as like preachy.
Yes.
So that's the hard part. To like, how are you gonna talk about this maybe social issue or something and make it in a way that's I guess palatable for people? But I think if you can take something heavy and wrap it in comedy, I think it's definitely easier to digest.
Absolutely. And also us, trying not to be so hard on ourselves too, and recognizing that this is our first big project. This is, we're writing it, we're, using our own creative voices, and also recognizing that, there are people who get paid a lot more money than we do, and they come up with things that aren't necessarily good, and they're on primetime television. You know what I mean? So we're doing this, we're putting it online, and we're doing having our own voices, but, there are a lot of things that are out there that aren't good, and they get paid big bucks to do it. So we're not trying to put ourselves on some kind of crazy scale of thinking this is going to be, something that's necessarily Oscars, nothing like that. But not yet. But recognizing that this is us using our voices, us doing the best that we can with what we know right now, and it's a journey. We're learning as we go along,
Right.
and even as we're doing this, we're learning. Okay, for our next season,
Right.
we're not gonna do that again.
We're
or,
gonna be firing
Yeah.
some people. We're gonna do a lot of
jokingly.
we're gonna do we're gonna do a lot of things different,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also like we still have room to grow, and it takes time to find your writing voice. Like that
Yes.
definitely takes time.
Exactly. And yeah.
But I think we're on a good start.
Absolutely. Like we're really like happy with what we've done so far, and as I'm editing it and seeing it, it's like really exciting.
Now, in the trailer, there's a small clip that this was also started as part of a contest. Is that correct?
In the plot, yeah, the plot
Oh,
is
in the
yeah,
plot.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's just
the
Okay.
whole of
so
the,
yeah, and
the
that's where it's
series,
not
yeah.
exactly our story because we're not doing any kind of competition or anything. But in
Right.
the storyline, they the two main characters, they get their shot because their idol is having this competition, and if they could come up with this short film in a short amount of time, they might be able to finally make it and meet their idol and kind of get started in their dream. And she's in this idol, this Angela Woodson character that we created. She's
Yes,
just
that
like
character.
the epitome of like just the director they want to be, and just she's a black woman, so they're
Yeah.
just inspired by
She's
her.
a 3-time
She's
Oscar
a
winner.
three-time, that doesn't even exist in real life. No
Right.
black woman three-time. She's a little fantasy at the moment, but that idea that this is your dream, and if you could just do it in this short amount of time with this little bit of money and these crazy people around you, then you could just make it. So that's kind of the plot of the story.
Okay. One thing I've always been curious about with various different web series and even independent films that just launch online is the budget. What's your budget look like? And
we we don't even really have one,
No,
but
we did
just
start with
everything
one
down
though,
the
right?
middle.
Like we did,
Did
like
we?
no, I mean like you made it. We use Google Docs. Shout out to Google Docs and Google
Man,
Sheets
shout
and Google
out to
because
them.
our whole project is on Google. Right
Yeah,
now.
it's on the Google
But
Drive.
Google Drive, but you definitely Ashley's been keeping us organized, so she definitely like has had a budget that she wrote. I mean,
Kinda,
whether we
it
stuck
was-
to it or not,
yeah,
but
it-
you like
It was a loose budget because we definitely need. Well, I had like sound equipment, so
Yes.
thank
Oh,
God
yeah,
for
she
that.
did have sound equipment, yes.
I had bought that just on my own, like
Yeah.
several months before.
Yeah.
So, but we needed a camera.
So,
So,
yeah, we split a
certain
camera.
stuff that I was like, okay, we definitely need this. We we got jobs.
Oh yeah,
thank God we got jobs.
Yeah, we both got jobs before we started.
Yeah,
so,
around the same time.
So it got
better jobs.
So you're self-funding.
We're
project.
entirely self-funding.
Yeah,
I mean, we've gotten a few donations. My brother, shout out to my brother who donated a little bit to the project.
Yeah, bro, and sister-in-law.
Yeah, my brother and sister-in-law. But other than that, it's been us, our own jobs, and we, and all our actors and stuff have volunteered their time, and our crew has volunteered their time. So they've, been able to really help us without, really being highly compensated. A little bit of money here. And
there, we try to, slip them gas money or bridge toll. Also feed them.
Yeah, we do feed them. Yeah.
But it's definitely out of
love
pockets.
Love jobs. They're doing love jobs for us.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a web page for the actual web series?
Not yet. Our web page is our YouTube/Instagram/Twitter page. We have social media and we have a Facebook page. So we have social media pages, but we don't have a series website. No.
Okay. Get a website up and a donation button.
Absolutely.
We'll link it up
for
you guys.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
we could
great.
do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, we should do that for sure.
Okay, so now does the show itself, does it cater to, because it's based in San Francisco, does it cater to really people here in the Bay Area and what's going on in the Bay Area? Or is it a little bit more general component to it to where anyone in the U.S. can relate to it?
I think anyone, I mean, we love San Francisco, so we definitely wanted to highlight that. Kind of like, not a love story to San Francisco, but kind of we just want to show that we love our city. But
and it's not a voice you hear a lot. You don't really see a lot of stories about Black people in San Francisco,
right?
Right.
And we want to show places that you normally They always show
the Golden Gate Bridge,
right, or Fisherman's Wharf. Scratch that. We wanted other areas that you don't see in the city.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and,
what areas?
Like I grew up in Bayview, Hunters Point, so we show that. We have
Dolores Park. They don't really show Dolores Park.
And when I meet people who move to San Francisco, and I'm like, oh, I'm from here, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're from here? It's like a unicorn,
Like, there's Black people in San Francisco.
And then I'm always like, oh, I grew up in Bayview, and I'm like, have you heard of Bayview? And they're always like, no, where's that? I'm just like, you've been living here 3 years and you don't even know where Bayview is. So it's always a little bit like, to me, that people don't even know the different areas where there is other people who live in the city. Is kind of like closed off in some ways. But so we wanted to do kind of a shout out to the different neighborhoods that don't get recognition, or people don't necessarily know who move here, or don't get that voice in the media. So we kind of wanted to do a little bit of that.
I feel like they think like Black people don't live in San Francisco, they live in Oakland,
which is pretty true today, but we still got some people there. But so it has definitely a local flair, but it definitely is universal.
You can be anywhere, because the message, most people want to be great, whether they achieve it or try to achieve it. But I feel like most people want to be great at something.
Yeah, and even if you're not a creative person, but you want to be great in accounting, you want to be great in anything. Real estate, anything you really just want to be the best at and really make it in, you could relate to it. And everybody has dreams, so if you have a dream, you can relate to the Can We Be Great series for sure.
Okay, so it really follows the struggle and the challenges that this main character trying to be a filmmaker in the contest,
but we follow it through the contest, so it's not just like everyday struggles. So we're trying to make it interesting. So we show the struggles through them doing this contest.
Them kind of butting heads together, them having kind of whack hustles as we put in the trailer. Like literally, as you'll see, they have some really whack hustles of how they try to make money, and it doesn't always work out. But it's just it's really through the lens of the competition though, because they find out about this competition. They're like, oh, we got to do this. This is it.
They find out about it late.
Yes, so they don't really have a lot of time. So it's kind of a crunch, and them trying to imagine you got 6 weeks to come up with an idea, to get a cast, to film a short film, and then you gotta edit it. You gotta edit it. So it's just a lot for a short amount of time for people who are kind of struggling artists, who got whack hustles and maybe not the most reliable friends, and
who have way less money than we don't have a lot of money, but they have way less money than we do.
Yeah.
And you said Trina, your cousin, who also works here in my office, has a small little...
Yeah, she has a little... It's almost like a cameo, because it's like...
we don't want to give it away.
I won't give it away, but she's amazing. When she did her part, I was like, you know what? We need to actually cast you in a bigger role. Season 2, girl, you gonna come back. So yeah, she has a little role, but she's great in it. So I think that'll be around episode 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll definitely watch out for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what are like as filmmakers, screenwriters, and like what were some of the challenges that you had in starting this project? Because this is your first project together, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
So what
And my
what were some of the
first project ever as far as this, like filmmaking.
Yeah, it's my first big project. Like I've done little things for other people's projects, but definitely my first big thing that I've done that's, my name on it, But I would say one of our biggest struggles, especially in the beginning, was just writing it. Like coming up with an idea is like, it's difficult, or just and then fleshing it out and making it make sense. And you are very protective when you're writing it, so you want it to be funny, and so you start to question like, is this funny?
Right.
So we'd be like, we would switch stuff and like, this would be funnier this way, or or is that too much? You don't want to be like super. We're not trying to do shock comedy either, but we don't want it to be super like rated G either, so we kind of want to find the balance of it not being, and we found that because we watch a lot of web series, and like I said, we're big fans of television, so we often share what we're watching
Can I
to
just
each
give
other.
a shout out to this has been such an inspiration for me. They're not a web series no more, but they started as a web series and now they're on Comedy Central. Broad City. That is like
her show.
I feel like
yes.
I just feel like we are the black Abby and Alana from Broad City. That's just how I feel. That's just I don't know. I love them, and I took a lot of inspiration from them, from Issa Rae, from like
Ava DuVernay, who I kind of thought of when I was thinking of Angela Woodson, and
Angela Woodson is
a combination of a lot of great people.
But definitely the hardest part was definitely writing.
Yeah, writing it, and then
trying to get
going forward with it. Yeah, and dealing with people that you're not necessarily paying is also when people are paid, they have an obligation to be.
But mostly it was dealing with because they're non-actors.
Yeah,
so
that too. We definitely our whole cast is like our community, so our friends.
So you're coaching along the way at the same time, then.
And changing up stuff on the fly. Like, okay, you don't want to say it like that, but then it's sometimes like, dang, like we kind of want those words, but then it's like whatever.
Or it's just some things just don't work. Like you write stuff, and then when we start filming it, like that actually is just not coming off right. So on the in that moment, I'm like, well, try it this way, and then that works a lot better, like that. So just kind of being flexible to, and that's what I told the cast too when we wrote it, is that we are not like staunch like this is a sacred script, you cannot change it. We're like very open, so like if you guys have ideas of how to say it better, or it doesn't come natural this way, then let us know, and we'll definitely willing to incorporate your ideas too. So definitely very open with it. But but working with with a big cast and that our community, sometimes it's just a little challenging to keep everything focused with our friends. And I'm looking at Ashley because she's one of the cast members, and as the director, Ashley and her what's it
my co-star,
her co-stars, they play a lot.
But the thing is, because we've known each other since we're like first grade, so
oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's like, okay, guys.
But I feel like we have
a lot of outtakes.
Oh my, we got a series of outtakes. We have a complete series of bloopers.
I think every shoot,
singing, dancing. It's there's a lot of outtakes.
So you could come out with a whole nother web series of behind the scenes of the web series.
Yes. So that's why I've kept everything so that they could see how behind the scenes stuff. But they're awesome. Like the cast has been like totally awesome and really like committed, and so it's been really nice to work with them. But focus is always a challenge for any cast when you know people really well, and they had backstories, and they homies, man. Like you know people who've been knowing each other for first grade, and they grew up in church together. They singing hymns for fun. They do a lot. So
now, do you write the script before or after the masterclass?
The script as it is today was after the masterclass.
Yeah. We already had something.
we had started. Yeah. I think we were already on maybe episode 2 or 3 when we started the masterclass, and we just revamped it, changed. I feel like
we actually wrote everything and then we rewrote it.
Yeah, we were like, you know what, Unshine.
Yeah, we wrote stuff like more than, and we actually have to still rewrite.
Yeah,
episode 7.
The last 2 episodes we still have to kind of do a little bit of editing before we shoot it. Editing of the script, but yeah.
Okay, now. Let's talk about growing up and living in San Francisco. How much has that, and it sounds like a lot of that has really influenced this film because you have a lot of the community involved. You're highlighting various communities in there. How has that really helped develop the script into what it is today?
I don't know. Just I mean, we grew up in San Francisco. We've seen how it's changed since we were younger. And so, and then I think that also goes to us wanting to highlight certain key areas that don't get highlighted, like areas that we grew up in, or our family grew up in, or we used to kick it in.
Yeah.
So,
I think, yeah. And I think just, yeah, I would say growing up, just as young people in San Francisco and in our communities, it had a big impact on how we see our characters for sure, because they're based on us. And so all, that's who we are. We're San Francisco natives, and we wanted to do a little shout out. And most of the cast is from San Francisco too. So like we're all kind of from the same communities, and it's just fun. It's fun to be able to use people that you grew up with that are the ones who are starring in this little, web series. So, it's just, essence of, our background, and yeah.
Okay. So now you said there's 7 episodes to the web series.
Yes.
There's 5 that are already finished. Now, is it going to be launched at the same time?
No,
or...
we are not Netflixing this.
Yeah, we
this
don't.
is
Every week.
every
Once a
week.
week,
So we
yeah.
hope, and I want to emphasize the hope that this is. But every Friday we hope to release an episode, and until the 7 episodes are
Every
finished.
Friday we shall release.
Yes, we shall hope to release. No, but yeah. So if I edit quick enough, it will. Now I'm just kidding.
Right, it's all on
Yeah,
her.
yes. So yeah, if anything's late, you can blame me. But yeah, the goal is to release 1 episode every week. And we've shot the first 5 episodes, but they're not done in terms of editing yet. But we'll be ready. So
Okay.
we're gonna keep that going.
So who does all the filming?
Me
she
and Jay Wilson, who's our DP. He's our director of photography, who did about half of the shooting as well.
Okay. Okay. So, just had a question here for you, but, what other filmmakers and directors have you really looked at as a huge influence into what you're doing with this series?
Well, it's hard not to bring up Issa Rae, because she's so like huge right now, and like definitely having her moment of this pure shinage right now, pure shinage. So she's and she came from a web series, and now she's on HBO, and so there's definitely filmmakers and creative content people like Issa Rae, who are definitely people who we look to and who have influenced us, even knowing that web series could even be a could even be a venue that could lead to a lot of success. So but
Right. But as far as like, I guess famous directors or whatever, I'm like super obsessed with Christopher Nolan.
yes, and so is her character, for the record.
Right. And
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee has
Absolutely.
been like, even before I wanted to make movies, I always was like, if I ever make movies, I want them to be like Spike Lee, since I was like in high school. So he has definitely been a huge inspiration, just the way he deals with issues with the Black community, and like I just love him.
Yeah. And I love Ava DuVernay as well.
Yeah.
Like, love her work. Love Queen Sugar.
Yeah,
One
Gina
of her
Prince.
shows. Gina Prince. Oh yeah, she's dope.
By the Wood. I think it's
Gina
By the
Prince
Wood.
Bythewood, yes.
Yeah, By the Wood. She did Love
Absolutely.
and Basketball.
Yeah.
Alejandro Inarritu. I think that's how you say his name. Definitely a fan of his.
Yes.
Okay.
And Ron Howard, I love him. He did a lot of movies I like.
Are there any plans already in the works for another web series after this?
Well, we want to do season 2. So
Yeah, I mean, I do. I actually didn't tell her yet, but I do have plans. I've been thinking about it. We've been so busy with this. Haven't had a chance to tell her. But
go.
yeah.
Yeah. What?
Oh,
Yeah.
what's I don't want to say.
Oh, yeah. What?
I know it's too premature.
Oh, okay. So,
But there
are things in the works.
I do have an idea for another web series that is totally different than what we're doing now, but I feel like it's necessary. But I don't want to say.
So
what it is yet.
essentially, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. And also, we kind of want to take this to like like on a network. Like, we feel like this can be a show. It'd probably be a little reworked if it was on a network, but I mean,
Yeah.
that would be great.
How would you see it reworked for a network?
I would probably maybe some of the characters, because as we were filming, like just the way some of the actors, well, one in particular, just the way she did just the way she did her role, we're like, we kind of want to expand her. I think Kelly.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I think we probably will rework some of the characters and then the storyline. So like if it was a TV show, they would probably start off maybe working at Angela Whitson's production company or something like that. So
yeah.
Okay. Now, is Kelly the actress or the character?
okay, so Kelly is the actress. The character is named Katie.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's that character doing in the actual web series?
Ooh.
Actually, that character is gonna make you cringe when you first see her.
Yeah.
But
she represents something.
We want to bring her back because we don't want to make her like. We definitely want to redeem her because the way you see her in the first thing is like, she's better than that. So, she's in the pilot actually.
Yeah, and we
Okay.
want to. Yeah, and you'll know what this means when you see it in the first episode. But we definitely want to like see the difference between good intentions and actually like it coming across like how it's meant to be. So you'll understand what that means when you see her character. But people often misspeak a little bit, but their intentions aren't always as bad as it may come across. So yeah.
Okay. Now, what was your favorite scene to shoot?
Ooh, man, that's a good question.
I feel like we haven't shot it yet. The scene I'm looking forward to shooting, we haven't shot it yet. But man.
Yeah, and I think my perspective is different too because I've been like the behind the camera person. So,
Yeah, we can get behind the camera person.
Yeah.
And actors.
What was your favorite
Favorite acting one?
First one you acted in, yeah.
It's probably gonna come up in episode 2, the very first scene. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to throw people off, but it's the very first scene in episode 2.
Okay.
And I'll just say it has to deal with war. I'll just say that.
So why was that your favorite?
It was just fun
without really maybe giving too many details. Like,
because of the gear, the clothing, her sister-in-law is actually like our
she's our
what is it,
costume
designer,
yeah,
like for her official title.
Yeah,
and she's like really good.
She's really good
awesome.
at this. Like,
so she found us this costume for this war scene, I should say, and that just I don't know, it was awesome. And then it was just me, Jasmine, and the other co-lead in it. Her name's Anja. It was just us 3 at McLaren Park, and we just acted a fool.
And we shot at McLaren Park a lot. Shout out to McLaren Park. Like, they were like our second set. We went there a lot. But people don't even know about McLaren Park.
Yeah,
like that.
they
It's
don't.
not one of the parks
They
that people
don't,
talk about in San Francisco.
People
but
don't know about McLaren Park.
it didn't always have the best reputation.
I feel like you have to be a local to know about
But it's been revamped. So yeah, that was fun. But yeah, that was a good scene to shoot. And there were so many scenes that I had fun shooting. Yeah, I can't even say all of them because like I don't want to necessarily say what these scenes are. But
what's the one that stood out to you the most?
Gosh, every day we shot, there was a scene that probably stood out. But this we didn't put in the trailer, so I won't say this one. But I would say one of the shots that they do because Ashley's character, which is named AJ, she is quite a character. Like, her character is off. like she was such a nutty character, and so a lot of the things she does is really funny to me. But one of the things that she does is really funny is she ends up trying to get her skills up, and so she ends up wanting to, I don't know, I guess expand her physical abilities to be able to act well, and so she hires somebody to help her, and that shooting that scene was just hilarious.
Like, I hire a movement coach.
Yeah, she hires
a movement coach,
whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever that is, and to help her, get loose and be able to feel her characters more deeply. And it's just a mess. Like, she is just nutty.
I feel like that's someone you could legitimately hire in San Francisco.
Absolutely. Yes.
San Francisco's weird like
that. Oh
that.
Man, absolutely. But it was a really fun thing to shoot.
But
it was hard not to laugh.
I actually got that from like if you ever see like acting schools, like if they'll show you clips, you'll see like that weird like movement stuff. Like, but that's like I used to think that was fake. Like that's real.
Oh, are you talking about like interpretive dancing?
Well, like if you just sometimes see, like I would look up clips like for acting school or like acting techniques or whatever, and they'll show like all this weird stuff, and I'm like, this is fake, but it's actually real. Like they really do teach that, and like there's a reason why they do it. Like I've never taken a class like that, but it's like real, like legit. And then when I took an acting class, like the first 20 minutes we were stretching and doing all these vocal stuff. So the movement stuff, the movement coach came out of seeing that on YouTube. I'm like, what are they doing?
So what's the reason behind that though?
What the movement?
Yeah.
Oh well, cause it's to free your actor, it's to free yourself to just be free, not be
Like
so
let
in your head.
loose.
Yeah, like let loose. So you can't like have tension anywhere. So just to be free and just get out your head. Like if you're in your head as an actor, you're probably not doing well.
You can't be in your head.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for someone that is looking to start their own web series, what's the number one thing they need to do?
Right.
There's like a million things, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I would say, right, get the idea, get what you want to do. Because once you have your script, then you could start to envision it and get the people you need. But before you have anything to show, it's hard to do anything else. So I would say, get it down, get your idea.
If you can get some people,
definitely.
like collaborate, because like there's no way I would have been able to pull this off if I didn't have like a writing partner and stuff like that. So if you can
get with like-minded
creatives, get with some people, and like don't rush it. Like if you're gonna do it, you want it to be good or as good as you can make it. So don't just like, I gotta put something out. Like take your time, develop it, like make it good, do your research.
Now, you have a lot of help from the community, your friends, your family, which is awesome. But how easy is that realistic for many independent filmmakers? Or is that not as common? Like, is it really hard to put together a team?
I think Yeah, and I think it depends on your circle. Like, I think we both just have circles that are that are all like, have a lot of creative people in our circles who be willing to do this kind of stuff. But not everybody necessarily has that circle.
But the thing, I took a risk because I didn't even see any of her
true.
editing or directing stuff for the first.
We did no research on
like
each other.
5 months.
Yeah.
So she could have sucked. Like,
yeah. And after, even as we were going along, she would say stuff to me like, "Ooh, I really hope you know how to edit." Like she would make these little comments that were like, Ooh.
But on flip side, I was like, she's never seen my acting stuff.
And
and I ain't the greatest, but I could really suck.
But I tried to see it. Like I asked her, I was like, "Oh, maybe we could rehearse together. I could see like before we shot our first day." I was like, "Maybe I could run the lines," and she was like, "No." She was like, "I can't do." I was thinking, "Oh Lord, this girl don't even want me to see her even practice. What is she gonna bring tomorrow?" So like I think we both kind of really stepped out on faith a little bit on knowing what we actually could do, because she hadn't really seen my work, I hadn't seen her work, but we wrote a script together, and we trusted that we both would be able to bring.
I was going off the vibes, really.
Yeah.
So the two of you just really hit it off as soon as you met, and
we actually the first meeting, we
did.
actually did.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that it was gonna be this. Like, I didn't know we were gonna be like doing a web series. I knew it would probably be something, but I didn't think it was gonna like.
Yeah, and when you like are a creative person, you meet a lot of creative people who you'll be like, "Oh yeah, we should do something," and then you never see them again, or you run into them, But like people tend to have that energy, like, "Oh yeah, we should collaborate," Right. But it doesn't necessarily always end up being a collaboration.
Well, because when we first hit each other on Facebook, like our guys connect us, and I'm thinking like, "Oh, let's meet." I'm thinking it's gonna be like in a month, 2 months. It ended up being like 2 weeks later. I'm like, "Okay, well, whatever. I'll see how it goes." And then I don't know, as we started doing it, she was just as into it as I was. Like, we haven't skipped a week of writing, so it's like, okay, well.
Yeah, and I think it helps keep you accountable too when you have somebody else who's pushing it along, because I don't know, definitely over the course of like the last months, I kept thinking, "Oh man, one day Ashley gonna be like, nah, I'm not feeling it today," but she never ever was like.
I did almost, because something happened, but I was like,
but she always showed up, like,
almost.
Almost. But I'm telling you,
did it.
because I you throw that like that little like out there, like I might text you like, "Oh, you still want to meet today?" And I'll be thinking, "Oh, she probably tired. I'm tired. I'm sure she's tired." She's like, "Yeah, I'm coming." I'm like, "Oh, I guess we really are meeting today again." So like when you have somebody you're accountable to, then it really helps push it, because when you're by yourself, you can psych yourself out. Like you could you give yourself all kind of breaks, but when somebody else is there who's also like, yeah, I'm coming, or yeah, we're gonna have a writing day, or yes, we need to get our cast and have a rehearsal, and so it keeps it going. So definitely getting around like-minded people is important, and finding people who are interested in what you're interested in.
And that takes time. Like I said, I was working heavily with another kind of crew before I had met her, and I mean, I thought we was cool,
and she got dropped.
They play me. I hope y'all.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But like I said, that was the best thing that could ever happen. So sometimes it takes time, to find. You definitely can find it. Everybody may not have friends or the parental support or family or whatever, but you definitely can find a community. It takes time.
And you might get burned here and there.
You may one or twice.
We really lucked out with us being both committed and not seeing each other's work. And
but, it's still so soon. We never know.
Yeah, it's still early. It's
only been it hasn't been a year yet.
Nah, yeah, but it's been good.
But at least you're gonna get the first web series out.
Right? So she drops me after that. At least we did something.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we finish up here, I want to talk about the beer and the wine. We've got both going on here. And we're drinking East Brother Beer Company. We're drinking one of their wheat IPAs. And for wine, we're drinking Chalice Lane Old Vine Zin. How do you like the wine?
I like it. I'm a fan.
Are you more red or white?
I'm more red. So I like red wine, and it's nice.
Okay. How do you like the beer?
No wonder why it tastes like Blue Moon, because it's wheat, and Blue Moon is
it's a Belgian wheat.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. I'm trying to get my terms right. But yeah, I like it. I'm still learning the IPA. It has I'm more like a lager or pilsner type, but I'm trying to step up my IPA game.
So East Brother has a red IPA. Go try that one. It's very different.
Okay. Yeah. See, there's so many IPAs, and I'm like, but yeah, I do like this though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to thank the two of you for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you.
And it was a lot of fun. And so we'll go ahead and link up the series. And right now it's only the trailer, so we'll go ahead and get that previewed everywhere. Congratulations. Thank you. Sounds like it was so much fun.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do a second web series though.
We are a second season. I mean, we definitely have projects. Just
So you have something. So the thing that you're not saying, this is in addition to second season that you want to do before second season.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll start recording so you can have a serious talk here.
Right.
Okay, so thank you, and let us know when you have a web page up. If people are interested in donating, helping the project, or if there's any actors, actresses out there, or anyone that can help with the project.
Yeah.
What's the best way to contact you directly?
We have an email through our
we should do email CW
BG.
BG series. CWBG series at gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay. And you guys are very easy to find on YouTube.
Yes.
Now on YouTube, it's only the trailer?
Yes, it's just the trailer there now. We had one more thing behind the scenes, but it's not there.
Oh, yeah, no. No, we took that off. Yeah, so now it's just a trailer, and then we're going to upload the episodes, and then
we'll probably
I don't know when
we'll
extra stuff like behind the scenes, because we have every time we shoot is something crazy. So
yeah, I mean, look, as a director, look at my face. They are crazy, but it's good fun. It's good fun.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having us, and thank you, Trina. Shout out to Trina for hooking this up too and helping.
I expect big things in your cameo.
It's funny. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be funny.
Yeah, she's hilarious, man. She's a little hidden actor gem, and she don't know.
Okay, well, thank you, and can't wait till November 3rd.
Ooh. Thank you.
Thank you to my guests, Jasmine and Ashli, for being on the podcast. I've learned so much today, and it was a lot of fun having the two of you here as my guest. Definitely go check out their web series on YouTube. The entire series launches November 3rd, so please check it out this coming Friday. You can watch their trailer already posted online, and it's a great trailer, and I can't wait to see this web series released every Friday. Thank you to our producer, Sam Lubman, for doing a phenomenal job. And remember, please rate the podcast, share, like, comment, and any feedback is greatly appreciated. And thank you again for listening.
I really want to thank all of you for listening. It means the world to me, and I hope today's episode provides you value in your day-to-day life. I created this podcast to help showcase the many great people that live in this world and help share some knowledge that I've learned along the way in life. Again, thank you for listening. Check out our sponsors, and I'll catch you on the next episode.